Do our leaders know what they are doing? I'm told by a statistician that the incidence of COVID is much the same in Halton Hills, in Windsor, as in the GTA. GTA is under lockdown. Melissa Lantsman always knows what's going on with this, and she joins me right now. I put the question to you, why are some areas seemingly disadvantaged or hit harder than others?
Look,
by the government?
I think it's a tough decision for governments to make when they have to make the tough decision to close things.
Don't we want them to make the right ones, though?
I absolutely agree. Look, there are plenty of conservatives, liberals as well, who think the lockdown has gone too far. And then there's people that have been calling for the lockdown. Unfortunately, I think sometimes politicians govern by public opinion and not necessarily by data.
And well, data is changing, though. The WHO
Absolutely.
said lockdowns are great. Now they're saying do not have a lockdown. Our politicians have not lifted the lockdown because WHO is saying no.
No, it's hard to keep track of who's saying what and what they're saying, because you can find any expert that's going to say anything, and it's incumbent on our politicians to listen to the public health advice, which I think they have been doing.
They have to listen to it.
And doing what's in accordance with that.
And should they take into account economic advice and social advice and professors talking about the impact on education?
Absolutely. There's an impact on education. There's an impact on mental health. There's an impact on business. There's an impact in all of our lives. But look,
some people are making the case that the impact of the lockdown is causing more tragedy in lives than the non-lockdown and washing your hands and wearing a mask and staying away from people.
Yeah, look, I'm not somebody who can make that claim. Frankly, I do believe that. I think that the lockdown is a bit excessive in some areas and maybe not enough in others. It's incumbent on the government to figure out how to keep people on side before they get offside.
Are our leaders, political leaders in all jurisdictions, in all parties, are they cowed by the press saying, you got to follow the science and the medical science, and there is no medical science on this? Are they just cowed by that?
I think it's a tough decision. I think you've got to take public health advice. I think you've got to see where the population is to make sure that you continue to have them on board to make the sacrifices that they have been making for a long time. And that's where I think it's getting iffy.
The Auditor General in Ontario castigated politicians for not following the medical advice. Others, including myself, said, well, they have all this other advice as well they have to take into account. Do you agree with that?
Look, I think the Auditor General, way outside of the lane, not a doctor. Ontario has fared better than almost every other jurisdiction in the world. That's a fact, and that was nowhere in the report.
And Melissa, that's 3 minutes.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure. The numbers are in. And it's obvious that more and more people are watching this show because you are getting the precise and concise news that you would not get on the mainstream media. And in the meantime, I guess we're cheesing a few people off. That's clear from the fact that Randy Hillier, MPP, was censored. You can see my views on that on StephenLeDrew.ca. So we have to keep this going. We started it as a project. We are running out of money. If you know someone who wants to advertise or to sponsor this, please fill in the form because we are determined to keep this news on the air for you.